evening and welcome to the Money Show, the show that puts your money matters front and center. I'm Kavita Thapliyal, and in a world full of financial noise, we are here to bring you clarity, confidence and control over your personal finances, whether you're planning for retirement, building a portfolio, navigating debt or just trying to make smarter money decisions. This is your space, your guide and your weekly check-in with your wallet. Every evening, we bring you insights from top financial experts, decode the latest trends and answer your burning questions on savings, investing, spending, and everything in between. Because here on the Money Show, we believe one thing: you don't have to be a finance expert to take charge of your money. You just need the right advice. This show also has a special segment where we answer your portfolio queries. So just in case you want to send across your portfolio queries details, you can do that on our WhatsApp number, which is 865-797-4571. And we also have an email ID, which is themoneyshow@etnow.tv. So both the places you can send across your current financial details if at all you want any guidance from our expert, or maybe talk to them live on the show. All right, so today the show will be focusing on your portfolio queries, and to do your life financial planning, I have with me Hemant Rustagi, CEO Wise Invest. Hemant, hi, good evening and welcome to the show. And let's begin via email question, which is from Manish. He says that he's investing 4,000 in Parag Parikh Flexi Cap, 3,000 in Bandhan Small Cap, 3,000 in Quant Small Cap, again 3,000 in Invesco Small Cap, Nippon Small Cap, HSBC Multi Cap, again 3,000. And Invesco India Mid Cap, he has again 5,000 investment going on, and White Oak Flexi Cap 3,000, Bajaj Finserv Small Cap also 3,000. He's a long-term investor, wants to hold this investment for almost 20 years, and the corpus target is 20 CR. So yeah, total SIP is of 30,000 is what he's given us in terms of details. I do not have him on the phone line because I want to know why so many small caps he's accumulated, and is that really helping him boost the returns in his portfolio? Does that really happen, considering small cap is a larger universe of stock picking, which is where the expertise of a fund manager also comes into play very much, Hemant. But having said that, the amount of small caps he has is definitely a case of over diversification. But then, having said that, are there any in terms of strategies, are these funds different from each other in terms of strategies and stock picking?
Well, Kavita, I think that's an important point that you raise. See, when we talk about small cap, yes, we all know that over the longer term, as a segment, small cap has the potential to outperform mid cap and large cap. But of course, by nature, they also tend to be very, very volatile. So clearly what happens is that, while you want a small cap fund to be in your portfolio, I think the key factor is also the proportion of investment that you're making in that. In this case, not only he has 5 small cap funds, he's also investing 50% of the amount that's out of 30,000, 15,000 through SIPs being invested in these 5 funds. So clearly investing 50% of your money in small cap fund, irrespective of the fact that they have the potential to outperform other 2 segments, I don't think it's a great idea, because while investing in an asset class like equity, you want to ensure that, considering the fact that equity by itself is an aggressive asset class, so you don't want to make your portfolio very aggressive, which can obviously sometimes compel you to make irrational decisions, especially if there is a phase in the market where the markets are not doing well or the small cap segment is not doing very well. So I think important point for every investor to consider is to avoid these kind of allocation. Always remember, equity is an aggressive asset class. There are 3 segments in the market. If you're a long-term investor, try and see that you have a slight bias towards the large cap, then mid cap, and then the small cap. Of course, all 3 segments have an important role to play. I think this is an important factor that every investor must remember while building a portfolio for the long run. In this case, he's in terms of strategy, I think he's doing all right, Kavita. He's investing through SIP, he's investing in equity fund, he has 20-year time horizon. So I think all that is fine, but I think the target has to be a little realistic. If I look at the current investment that he's making, I mean, I'll come to the composition of portfolio a little later. But if you look at, I will consider the entire amount that he's investing through 30,000 through SIP. This he can accumulate maybe around 3 crore or so. So clearly he needs to step up his SIP almost 20%, which can be a very daunting task for anyone to step up your SIP by 20% year after year for the next 20 years. So I think it's important that you make your target realistic. Of course, as we discussed, there are 5 funds. There has to be a consolidation. There has to be realignment here. So I think out of the small cap fund that he has in the portfolio, he can continue with Bandhan small cap, and then there can be Motilal Oswal large and mid cap 4,500, and then large and mid ICICI large and mid cap where 4,500 can be invested. So these are the 3 funds. In the flexi cap category, again, I think there is a multi cap fund HSBC. I believe that Kotak multi-cap can be a better fund, and the flexi cap fund can be retained. So few changes. One, reduce the number of SIP in the small cap funds, both in terms of number of fund as well as the quantum, and reallocate to a more diversified fund like mid cap, large and mid cap fund. I think that will ensure that there is proper balance in the risk and reward in the portfolio.
All right, so that's the advice. Really, he needs to consolidate his portfolio, and he needs to come down on the small cap ratio in the fund as well. Any more new investment to be put in what kind of funds according to you?
I think like I said, if to achieve the target, obviously the amount has to be increased every year. But more importantly, I've already explained to him the number of categories that he can look at.
Okay.
So I think those are the categories which are good enough for his portfolio.
All right, let's move on. And I have Mr. Rajdip on the phone line. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you so much for sending us your question, Rajdip. Tell me, how can we help you?
Ma'am, actually, I have been investing in mutual funds since 2021.
Okay.
But I am not able to step up considerably due to some reason. But now I understand that this is the high time I should consider step up the amount of my SIP.
Okay.
And I do have some goals in the last horizon, 15 to 20 years. I can also invest it for 25 years also, but I have set my target for 20 years right now. And I do have 4 SIPs as I have mentioned. I just want to know.
Okay. So, Rajdip, your voice is really not clear. So, as far as your question is concerned, you want to stay invested for 15 to 20 years. You have Mira Asset Large and Mid Cap, you have Parag Parikh Flexi Cap, you have SBI Small Cap, and you have Motilal Oswal Mid Cap. You're investing in these funds. You also want to invest in gold or silver ETF, for which you want an advice from an expert. And your goal is retirement at 55 with a good amount of corpus, also for child education and retirement. So, I really want you to give us a figure for each of these goals. For retirement, how much? We are looking at 20 years timeline now. So what is the target for retirement, the corpus that you want to accumulate?
I think, ma'am, for both of the targets, my child education and the retirement, I think 3 crores I am looking for.
3 CR?
3 CR, yes, ma'am.
3 CR for both child education and retirement.
Yes, I want to keep up my SIP also, but I don't know if it would be correct and how much amount should I start investing right now. That advice I want from you.
Okay, so let us help you with whatever information we have right now. Hemant, anything specific you want to understand from Rajdip? Because I really was not able to hear him properly.
No, Kavita, I think we have the information in terms of how much he's investing and what he wants to accumulate.
Sure.
The only thing missing was the target that he said combined target is around 2 crore, right? So if you look at, he has been investing for the last 4 years, and he has another 20 years to go. So in all, the time horizon is 24 years, and he can step up SIP by 10%, which I think again will work out very well for him over the longer period. If I consider the current investment level, he should be able to accumulate a corpus of 1 crore 60 lakh. So clearly, I can see that there is a gap for which he needs to increase his investment amount further, which can be challenging, but I think that's something which also bring discipline into your saving and investment process. So if you do that, you should be able to achieve your target. In terms of funds, I would say out of the existing fund, he can continue with 2 funds. One is Motilal Oswal Mid Cap. He can invest 1,500 there. Parag Parikh Flexi Cap 1,500. The remaining 2 funds, I think there are better funds in those 2 categories. Like there is a large and mid cap and there is a small cap. my advice would be that if in these two category, he can consider different funds. For example, in the small cap category, he can consider Bandhan small cap, and in the large and mid cap category, he can consider Invesco large and mid cap. And I'm not realigning or reallocating the amount. He can invest the same amount that is investing in each of these categories. So I believe that if you make two changes, your portfolio will have better quality funds. There will be probability of you getting higher return than what you can get with the existing portfolio. And like I said, there is going to be a gap, and you need to kind of step up amount by maybe 15% or 18%. Then you can achieve your target.
All right, and also, Hemant, regarding the timing of investing in a silver and a gold ETF, now the prices have really gone high. A common question on investors' mind is that should we be investing, or we should just wait for the prices to really cool down a bit?
Well, I think, Kavita, there is always a case for either investing in gold or silver. But important point is what is the proportion that you're looking to invest. The second thing is what is the objective. If you're looking purely from the point of view of diversification of the portfolio, I believe the kind of investor he is and what he's looking at, I believe that over that time horizon, equity can still give him better return. But is looking at purely from diversification point of view, at least 10% has to be invested either in both or either in gold or silver. Uh, Pricing is fine, Kavita, right now, but you're not investing for 1 year or 2 year. You're investing over the next 20 years, and you want to invest through SIP. Obviously, there are going to be phases where the gold prices will stagnate, maybe fall, right? So I think over the longer period, the biggest advantage of investing systematically is that you can average your price. But you need to have complete clarity in terms of why do you want to include another asset class. So if you're convinced about that, and you're convinced about the proportion in which you want to invest in that, well, you can go ahead anytime because you're going to be investing for the next 15, 20 years and investing systematically, which will give you an opportunity to invest at different levels.
All right, do I have Rajdip on the phone line still with me? Rajdip, any question you want to ask Hemant?
No, ma'am. I think you have answered my question.
Okay.
I just I want to sure that if I want to accumulate more purpose, do I need to right now stop the SIP amount right now more, or 10%?
Whenever it is possible for you, you should step up your SIP. Whenever it's possible, you should try stepping up your SIP. If you can do it now, do it now, or by the end of this year, whenever you have extra income in your hand, you should be able to do it.
Thank you.
All the best, all the best. Let's take Suraj's question, Suraj Maurya. I don't think I have him on the phone line, but okay. So he's investing in Barak Parik Flexi Cap, HDFC Mid Cap, Bandhan Small Cap, HDFC Balance Advantage Fund for 5 years with a step up of 15%. Goal is to build a 50 lakh corpus in 5 years, and for that he wants your guidance.
Kavita, you see that in this case, the SIP amount is 40,000, and as you rightly mentioned, the time horizon is 5 years. I think to get to the corpus of 50 lakh, he will need to kind of step up amount by 15% every year. Unfortunately, the time horizon is not long enough for you to really benefit from power compounding. And what happens is that when you invest for 5 years through SIP, your average holding period is just about 2.5 years. So I think that is what he needs to keep in mind. The second thing is that he's already invested in a small cap fund, and I think even in a mid cap fund. Now, for a time horizon of 5 year, I don't think these are the right categories. So I think there has to be some amount of realignment in the portfolio. So I would say that you can continue with Parag Parikh Flexi Cap, 14,000, that amount you can continue. Then there is a HDFC Balance Advantage Fund. Again, I think a great fund to have, especially if your time horizon is 5 years, you can invest 10,000 in that. And the third fund, according to me, in place of having a small cap and mid cap, should be an aggressive equity hybrid fund, which could be ICICI Pru Equity and Debt Fund, where you can invest 16,000. So what we have tried to do is not make 100% equity portfolio. We have looked at the fund, two funds are existing, and the third fund that we are asking him to consider to invest is a fund which has done very well. And there are times where this fund, despite the fact that it is investing around 35% in debt at times, has been able to outperform even the equity fund. So I think this fund has had a great performance track record. So he can consider that. He needs to reduce his risk in the portfolio, considering that he has only 5 years to go.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty risky if at all he keeps a equity oriented approach. But then shouldn't this also be the time where he should be in a way winding up his equity investment also and shifting to other asset class, maybe a debt?
No, I think his time horizon is 5 years, Kavita. He can continue for
Okay.
4 years at least. Maybe in the fifth year, beginning of fifth year, he can start to kind of reduce exposure. Uh, Another important factor is whether he needs the money immediately after 5 years, or if the purpose is to maybe generate some income out of it. Then I think the balanced advantage fund and equity and debt fund in any case are suitable, especially if you're looking to draw some money through SWP. So yes, uh, you can't wait till the last moment and remain invested in a 100% equity fund. So in pure equity fund, yes, it'll be good that if after 4.5 years, he start reducing his exposure and maybe going into either a hybrid fund if the money is not required immediately, or move into, as you rightly mentioned, into some debt option where he can preserve the gains that he would have made by then.
All right. Let's take Kanishka's question, and she is just 24, but then she's done her financial planning pretty well. Current income is 35,000 per month, and she will be getting married in 2 years. That's the goal. And she's got mutual funds, Parag Parikh Flexi Cap, Canara Beco Multi Cap, Kotak Global Innovation, ICICI Pro Multi Asset, Edelweiss Mid Cap, ICICI Value Fund, UTI Nifty 50 Index, all direct schemes. Okay, so she has started with the SIP investment. Current value is 3 lakhs. Active SIPs are going on. A PPF, she's investing 1,500, NPS 4,000. Goals are 30 CR as of today. That's the requirement. Child education 3 crores. Vacation 1 lakh per vacation every 2 years if possible. And corpus that's needed for retirement 80.6 crores, inflation adjusted after 25 years. And okay, so same is with education, including inflation 25 crores, and vacation should be 11 lakh plus 25 years period. Okay, so yeah, she's calculated and factored in all the important aspects for in terms of getting down the future value of her investment or gold price is concerned, gold figure is concerned. Hemant, how do you see her financial planning as, and what will be your recommendation on the funds and SIP amount?
Kavita, there are two important aspects here. One, as you also rightly mentioned, the fact is very, very important that you plan your investment. And how do you plan your investment is establish your goals, a certain time horizon, fix a target, work out how much you need to invest. And of course, above all, I think the targets have to be realistic. So I think as far as Kanishka is concerned, she has done a good job in terms of defining her goals, considering inflation, especially for all these long-term goals, which obviously is very, very important, because otherwise, if you don't consider inflation, you will be in a situation where you will see that you needed much more, and what you have been able to accumulate is much less than that. So I think in terms of overall strategy, she has done a great job. But like I said, I think it's equally important that you make your goals realistic, achievable. In this case, if I see her investment of 14,500 through SIP, then there is 1,500 through EPF, and NPS is 4,000. If I consider all this, then I think the overall corpus she can accumulate is only 4 crore. And as you can see, for retirement, inflation adjusted, she needs 80 crore. For children education, 26 crore. For holidays, vacation, she wants 11 lakh every 2 years. So clearly, while she's done a great job in terms of defining goals, uh, starting the right way, investing through a mix of SIP and equity fund, NPS, PPF in the right proportion, if I consider the current investment there. But I think the goals are totally unrealistic. I would recommend that she should relook at her goals, and then maybe come back to us with the revised goals, which will allow us to at least give her some ideas, suggestions as to how she can achieve the goal. With this investment, it's practically going to be impossible for her to even reach anywhere near, unless she can develop ability or capability over the next 3, 4, 5 years, where she can invest 7 times, 10 times of what she's investing right now. It doesn't look achievable. So I think it's important that she relook at her goal and come back to us so that we can really help her in how to achieve those goals.
All right, so that was Kanishka's question. Let's take Deepti's query. And she has Nippon India small cap in her portfolio, 2,500 she's investing, HDFC mid cap 1,000, Motilal Oswal mid cap 1,000, Parag Parikh flexi cap 1,500. She also planned to do a 10% step up as and when possible. Target is 5 crores in 25 years, hoping for a 17 to 18% XIRR. I mean, let's get the expectations reality check. I think we should just begin the answer with that.
Well, time horizon is 25 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, which is a good enough time horizon, especially if you're a disciplined investor, that you can get decent, healthy returns. But we always recommend that it's important that you keep your expectation at some realistic level, maybe consider around 12%. The idea is that if you're able to earn more, which if I look at historically, equity funds have been able to give much higher return than that. But keeping expectation realistic helps you in the sense that there are no gaps. Because if you assume certain return, based on that, you decide the amount of investment. And then if you're not able to achieve that, you will find that there's a gap in what you needed and what you have been able to accumulate. So I think it's important to set your targets at a very realistic level, both in terms of what you want to achieve and also in terms of returns. So I believe that with the current investment, the expected corpus would be around 2.5 crore after 25 years. The SIP amount will have to be stepped up by 15% or 16% to achieve the target. So clearly, it's going to be a very challenging situation, but it's achievable by stepping up the investment amount by 16%. Overall, broadly, I would say the funds are good. The existing funds in small cap, Nippon India small cap, Parag Parikh flexi cap, and Motilal Oswal mid cap can be retained. And I would say that in the mid cap, the fund that should be retained is mid cap, Motilal Oswal mid cap. Not there are two funds. So instead of having two funds where 1,000 each is invested, keep only one mid cap fund, which is Motilal Oswal mid cap, and invest 2,000 in that. So one change in the portfolio. And as I said, I think the focus should clearly be in seeing how this amount can be stepped up by 16% every year over the next 25 years.
All right, so that's the solution for Deepti, and yes, it's important to get the expectations real, and stepping up is a very good idea. 15% as and when it's possible is what she's planned for herself. So good to go, Deepti. All the best with your investments, and with that, it's a wrap on the show as well. Thank you so much, Hemant, for taking time out and helping our viewers with their portfolio queries. And before I sign off, tomorrow we are celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, and we are calling our Money Show special as Vigna Harta Strategy Special. Now, the reason why I say that is because we know the portfolio has a lot of vignas or challenges or red flags as far as uncertainty is concerned. That's looming on the portfolio. But having said that, how can Bappa really help us get all the Vigna Harta strategies right? We'll be joined by two important experts, Eka Banerjee, who will be talking about your behavioral Vigna, because during volatile times it's very important for one to understand how to keep their emotions under control. And we'll be also joined by Vinayak Sapre, who will be giving you Vigna Harta strategies. So tomorrow 5 p.m. do tune in on the Money Show for our Ganesh Chaturthi special Vigna Harta strategies. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.